Hello and welcome to another fly tying session with your host Scott. In this session we're going to be tying an unusual fly. This one's called the glow-in-the-dark Okey Dokey. Now I have been doing a lot of night fishing with flies for carp, and I've had mixed success until last night when I was using this pattern. This pattern worked extremely well. And so I wanted to share it with you guys on the channel. I'm not aware of anybody else fly fishing for carp at night. Obviously people fly fish at night for sea trout. That's not a new thing, but for carp, never heard of it being done. So I'm going to showcase at least one of the patterns that I use to do so. And for this pattern we're going to need a B110 grubber in size 10, and I've taken the barb off. I think that's quite important for carp fishing. If you're fishing for keeps, then yeah, keep the barbs on. These flies will work for trout if you're allowed to fish at night for them wherever your fisheries are. I'm not aware of any that are. They might work at dusk. They do allow you to fish at dusk at some places as far as I'm aware. The main body of the fly is going to be tied using this very, very difficult to use material called glow thread. Something's gone wrong with my spool, but we'll get around that. It's not very nice to tie with. And then for the rib and the thorax, we're using this pink material here, which is like a glow-in-the-dark flash by a company called Tego Fly, and it's found on Amazon. And then to seal it all in, we're going to be using my clear UV resin. This one's by Vineyard, and it is the low viscosity one, and it's clear. And I've also recently purchased a new UV torch, which I've been very pleased with, and I've actually purchased two of them. I was that pleased with it. One for fishing to charge the flies and my indicators, and one for setting the resins, and this one's by a company called Dark Beam. It's also available on Amazon, and it is the A300 model, 365 nanometer wavelength. It is focusable. It's also rechargeable, USB rechargeable, and it uses a single 18650 lithium ion battery in the main housing, and if for some reason you've run out of battery, you can just switch the battery out as well. So it's a really versatile torch, very strong, very bright, and yeah, it's made my bug bond one look a bit silly, if I'm honest, in comparison. That was £30. This was $15.99. delivered next day. So it just goes to show you don't necessarily have to buy fly tying branded materials to get the job done. So we're going to try and get going with this material. We're going to come in at the eye and just put a few turns on to get it started, and then we're going to trim away the excess. We're going to get a length of this pink material. Now this does actually glow orange at night, so it'll look like your typical Okey Dokey, just glowing instead of how it would look in the day. Now it comes as there's a shiny side and there's also a dull side. Now I actually prefer to use the dull side because the dull side does glow a little brighter. But if you want to use this fly in the daytime as well for trout, then I would tie it with the shiny side showing. And in order to get it so that the dull side is showing, you want to tie it with the shiny side up on top of the hook. But like I say, materials not great to work with. There we go, it's in. And then we're going to start building the body up using this floss. It's not really a thread, it is actually a floss. I go down to the bend of the hook and then start heading back up. This is what I mean, it's horrible. I don't know what's happened to this spool, but yeah, I'll just tighten and trim it, and we'll keep building the body up. We'll go down to about there and then start coming back up. It is sort of tidying itself up, luckily. And then one final pass. And stop a bit of thorax length away. You've got to trim it because it'll show through the resin otherwise. And then we're going to start ribbing. And then tie that in. Now I'm actually going to trim this off because I found you can get a much neater head if you trim it off and then retie it in. And then you want to wind your thorax with close turns. I'll go for a double layer here actually, or triple layer even. Once it's got the resin on it, it'll hide any lumps and bumps. There we go. And then tie that in at the head. And then attempt to whip finish because this stuff's horrible. There we go. Yeah, this one's definitely not for beginners, I'm afraid, but that's what we're going for. Hopefully you'll be able to see it glow in a second. Hang on. It's as dark as I can get it, really. Filming in the daytime. And there we go. I would recommend that you buy a UV torch to actually take fishing with you, just to recharge it. So now we're going to add the resin. just to lock all those materials in place and give it a nice finish. I would start with the thorax first, just to get the right shape. Try not to get any in the eye. And gravity's your friend. Once it's where you want it, hit it with a UV lamp. And that's your thorax done. So when you're applying the resin, you want to make sure you put some on the hook as well, just to seal it, because if you get rust underneath it, it will completely ruin the finish. And then once you're happy, set the resin. And then you want to get your varnish with a big brush, just to seal it off. And there we are. That is the glow in the dark Okey Dokey. Thank you all very much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys another night. Bye bye for now.